Texas gun owners already know drinking with a gun is a bad idea, but the red 51% sign is not really about your drink. In Texas, you can be sober, lawful, and carry responsibly, and still walk into a felony problem because of what the business is.
Chapter 1. The red sign is not about your drink. A lot of people see the red 51% sign and make the mistake of thinking it is about their own behavior. They think, I'm not drinking, so I'm fine. That is not how this rule works. The 51% notice is about the business Texas says you are entering. Under Texas law, the question is whether the location gets 51% or more of its gross receipts from alcohol sold or served for people to drink on site. That call comes through the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, or TABC. Alcohol being present is not enough. A restaurant can serve alcohol without becoming a 51% premises. A store can sell beer, wine, or liquor to take home and still be a different issue. For this rule, the key is alcohol consumed there and whether it makes up most of that premises' gross receipts. One reason this gets confusing is that TABC treats food and beverage certified locations differently for the red sign requirement, so you cannot judge the rule just by seeing alcohol on the menu. For locations required to post it, TABC says the red handgun warning sign has to be posted prominently at each entrance and visible before you walk in. Texas law says the notice has to be in English and Spanish in contrasting colors with block letters at least 1 inch high and with the number 51 printed in solid red at least 5 inches high. And once the warning points to a true 51% premises, it moves into Texas weapons law. Chapter 2. Why the 51% sign becomes a felony trap. Now here's why the 51% label matters for carriers. Texas does not treat a true 51% premises like a normal business with a no-gun preference. It falls under Penal Code 46.03, the Places, Weapons, Prohibited statute. That is the jump people miss. Once the location falls into that category, the issue is not just whether the owner likes guns. The state is treating the premises itself as off-limits for weapons. And to be precise, 46.03 is not talking about every object someone might casually call a weapon. The statute covers a firearm, a location-restricted knife, a club, or a prohibited weapons list in Texas Penal Code 46.05. This video is focused on the firearm and handgun side because that is where most concealed carriers get burned. For a firearm violation at a true 51% premises, Texas puts you in a third-degree felony territory. That can threaten your record, your gun rights, and your future. The mental state matters too. The statute uses intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly. So the risky case is not only the loud disaster everyone imagines. It can be the regular carry owner who walks in, keeps the handgun concealed, and minds his own business. Okay, picture a regular night. Someone meets friends at a bar, carries concealed like he always does, and nothing happens until security gets called over something unrelated. A complaint, a disturbance, a medical call, or someone noticing printing. Now the gun is part of the contact, and the 51% premises is the detail that changes the whole night. Is that a fair rule or not? Let us know below. That brings up to the part most people mess up. What Texas means by premises. Chapter 3. The doorway matters. For this law, Texas defines premises as a building or a portion of a building. That definition does not include the driveway, sidewalk, parking lot, parking garage, or other parking areas. The portion of a building language is where this gets tricky. A hotel may have a bar inside a larger building. A restaurant may have a separate lounge. A venue may have different areas under the same roof. In those situations, the name on the outside of the building may not tell you enough. The legal issue may be the specific area you are about to enter. That means the doorway is not just a doorway. It can be the legal boundary between ordinary public space and a prohibited premises inside the building. And I was only walking through is not the kind of explanation you want to rely on after the fact. But what if you have an LTC? Or what if you work there? Are there any exceptions? Chapter 4. The 51% exceptions and carve-outs. This is where people expect the LTC to save them. It usually does not. A Texas license to carry changes some carry rules. It does not turn a true 51% premises into a normal business. But if the sign is missing, blocked, wrong, or legally defective, the LTC can matter. Without an LTC, a missing or bad sign is not the same written carve-out. The state still has to prove the required mental state, but the clean statutory notice exception is written for LTC holders carrying a handgun who were not given effective notice. Also, Texas has a prompt departure defense in some prohibited place situations. If the owner or someone with apparent authority personally tells you weapons are prohibited and you promptly leave, that can give you a defense. That defense can fail if the proper 46.03 weapons prohibited notice was already posted, or if they can prove you already knew weapons were prohibited there. Now, for the professional side, some viewers are not standing at the sign as regular civilians, and this catches some employees too. If you work at the bar, manage the bar, or supervise the licensed premises, that does not automatically let you carry inside a true 51% location. Texas has an alcohol business employee carve-out in the weapons chapter, but it does not wipe out the 51% prohibited place rule. So for a normal employee or manager, the answer is no. Being on the payroll is not enough. Peace officers and special investigators get the broadest carve-out. Texas law says 46.02 and 46.03 do not apply to them, and it specifically protects carry in establishments serving the public, even when they are not actively on duty. Other roles can fall into different carve-outs too, including retired law enforcement, certain court and prosecutor roles, supervision officers, bailiffs, emergency services personnel, first responders, and tactical medical professionals. But those exceptions are not interchangeable. Some depend on ID, some depend on duty status, agency policy, an LTC, a certificate, or the exact job being performed. Security, military, and guard-related roles need extra caution because some protections are tied to official duties or other parts of the law. A uniform, contract, commission, or credential does not automatically answer the 51% question. If your role is the exception, read the exact exception. Because even with those carve-outs, the 51% rule itself is now being challenged. Chapter 5. The court fight. The 51% rule is not just being debated online. As of this recording, it is now on appeal in federal court. Texas has had a version of this 51% restriction since the licensed carry era. Permitless carry changed a lot, but it did not erase this line. The case is Ziegenfuss v. Martin. The plaintiffs challenged several Texas carry bans, including the restriction on carrying in 51% premises. And the 51% issue comes down to one question. If a person is lawful, sober, and peaceful, should Texas still be able to ban carry because the business makes most of its money from alcohol consumed on site? That's the whole fight. Is it a smart safety line or government overreach? Comment below. And in March 2026, the federal district court upheld the Texas restrictions. The court found the restrictions constitutional under the Second Amendment analysis. Now the plaintiffs appealed, so the fight is not over. But for now, the rule on the ground has not changed. Texas carriers may see it as overreach. The state may call it safety. But until the appeal changes something, the risk is still sitting right there at the entrance. Responsible carry is not just knowing how to shoot. It is knowing where your carry setup can legally go. But your gear still has to be comfortable enough to live in. If your setup is uncomfortable, unstable, or printing too much, well, Jane's going to show you how we make everyday carry easier to live with.
Hey, if you made it this far, you probably care about doing things right. If you've tried carrying in gym shorts or sweats, it just never feels quite right. Waistband moves, holster shifts, it's fine, but it's not dialed. That is why we built Relaxed Fit Tactical. Our shorts lock onto an inner belt, so your holster clips to a hidden belt, not just fabric. Same setup, same draw, just more comfortable. So if you carry every day, this just makes sense. Links below.